Okay, so age reversal,
Yeah.
not just living longer, but actually turning back the clock?
Right.
I mean, is that really possible?
Well, it's definitely getting more possible than it used to be.
Okay, so we did a deep dive into all this research on age reversal
Mm-hmm.
and talked to some of the top experts in the field, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
it is mind-blowing.
It is. So we're talking about resetting the body's software,
Right.
boosting its natural processes,
Yeah,
and maybe even getting younger eyes.
literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really comes down to how scientists are starting to view aging.
Okay.
Not just as wear and tear, but as like a loss of information at the cellular level. And this is what they're calling the information theory of aging.
So instead of our bodies just wearing out over time, it's more like our cells are losing the instructions for how to function properly.
Exactly. You can think of it like a computer program.
Okay.
A brand new program's going to run smoothly.
But over time, errors can creep in and the program starts to glitch.
Right.
The same thing happens with our cells as we age.
Okay.
They lose those precise instructions, and that leads to all kinds of problems in the system.
So how does this information theory change how we approach age reversal?
Well, if aging is about a loss of information,
Yeah.
then reversing it could be about restoring that information.
Okay.
Essentially like hitting the reset button on our cells.
Hmm.
And there's actually some evidence that this might be possible.
Really?
Yeah, researchers at the Salk Institute did this study where they disrupted a mouse's epigenome,
Okay.
which is like the control system that tells genes when to turn on and off.
Right.
And this caused the mouse to age prematurely.
Oh, wow.
But the incredible part is they were able to reverse it
What?
and actually restore the mouse to a younger state.
So they reversed aging in a mouse?
They did.
That's amazing. How did they do that?
Well, they used three of what are called the Yamanaka factors.
Yamanaka phase.
Yeah. These are genes that are normally active in embryos, and they have this power to reprogram adult cells back to a more youthful state.
So it's like our cells have this hidden superpower to regenerate, but it gets turned off as we get older?
That's the idea.
Wow.
Think of it like a cellular reset button. And this ability might be like a remnant of our ancient evolutionary past.
Oh, like
how salamanders can regrow limbs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Exactly.
So what does reversing aging in a mouse really tell us about the potential for humans?
Well, one of the most striking examples is this study where scientists used Yamanaka factors to actually reverse menopause in mice.
Wait, they reverse menopause?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is.
So theoretically, we could use these Yamanaka factors to reset other age-related changes in humans.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Of course, human biology is far more complex than a mouse's.
Right.
And there's still a lot more research to be done.
Of course.
But the implications are definitely exciting.
Yeah, so how do we actually deliver these Yamanaka factors to all the cells in the human body?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Scientists are exploring a couple different approaches,
Okay.
like using viruses to deliver the genes directly to the cells. But there's also researchers that are working on developing chemical cocktails that could potentially be taken orally.
Like a pill.
Like a pill.
Pill that could reverse aging. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be something.
I know, right?
Are we anywhere close to making that a reality?
It's getting closer than you think.
Really?
Yeah, some companies are making some pretty impressive progress.
Ah.
In fact, there's a company that's already testing Yamanaka factor therapy in monkeys to restore their eyesight.
Wow.
And they're hoping to start human trials as early as next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
So this isn't just science fiction anymore. It's actually happening.
It is.
It sounds like we might have some pretty incredible anti-aging therapies on the horizon. But while we wait for those to become available, are there things we can do naturally
Absolutely.
to support these rejuvenation processes in our bodies?
There are.
Okay.
One promising area of research is involving this amino acid called taurine.
Taurine.
Yeah.
I know that's in some energy drinks. But what does that have to do with aging?
Well, taurine plays this crucial role in a variety of bodily functions, including heart health, muscle function, and even brain development. And here's the fascinating part. Taurine levels naturally decline as we age.
Oh.
But studies have shown that supplementing with taurine can actually extend lifespan in mice.
So this common inexpensive amino acid that's already in our bodies could have anti-aging property.
It seems that way.
Wow. So what's the catch?
While the research is very promising, it's still pretty early.
Oh, okay.
More research is needed to confirm these benefits in humans and to figure out the optimal dose and long-term effects.
So it sounds like taurine is definitely something worth keeping an eye on.
It is.
Are there other natural ways to support our body's rejuvenation processes?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about NAD and how it declines with age. Is that something we can influence?
Absolutely.
Okay.
NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide.
Wow.
And it's this coenzyme
Okay.
that's essential for cellular energy production and repair. As we age, our NAD levels naturally decline, which contributes to many of the hallmarks of aging.
So are you saying that if we can boost our NAD levels, we can slow down or even reverse aging?
There's certainly evidence that suggests that boosting NAD with supplements like NMN and resveratrol is one popular approach.
Right.
But a more holistic approach that addresses all of the hallmarks of aging is really essential for long-term benefits.
What do you mean by a holistic approach?
Well, instead of just focusing on one aspect of aging, like NAD levels, we need to consider all the interconnected processes that contribute to aging. And there are actually some all-natural supplements being developed that are designed to address all of these hallmarks and ultimately influence the entire NAD network.
This is really making me rethink how we approach aging.
Yeah.
It sounds like supporting our body's natural systems is key rather than just trying to find a single magic bullet.
I agree.
Speaking of supporting natural systems, I read about this clinical trial where scientists were actually able to rejuvenate the thymus gland in aging humans.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the TRIM trial.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a groundbreaking study that used a combination of growth hormone, metformin, and DHEA to reverse the decline of the thymus gland.
So the thymus is a key part of the immune system.
Right.
And it plays a vital role in protecting us from infections and disease.
Exactly.
And this combination of therapies actually reversed aging in these participants.
You did.
What kind of results did they see?
Well, the results were pretty remarkable. Not only did the participants see improvements in their immune function, but their epigenetic age, which is like a measure of biological age, actually reversed.
Epigenetic age?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that term. Can you explain what that means?
Sure.
Okay.
You can think of your chronological age as like the number of years you've been alive.
Okay.
But your biological age, or your epigenetic age, reflects the actual wear and tear on your body at a cellular level.
Okay.
It's kind of a more accurate measure of how well you're aging.
So they were actually able to measure a decrease in the participant's biological age.
They were.
How much younger did they get?
Well, one participant's biological age reversed by almost 8 years.
8 years? That's incredible.
It is.
Did the other participants experience similar results?
Most of them did.
Okay.
Yeah. Although the extent varied from person to person.
So it sounds like rejuvenating the thymus gland had a pretty profound effect on their overall health and aging process.
It did.
Were there any other positive outcomes besides the age reversal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Beyond the impressive numbers, participants reported a lot of positive changes.
Like what?
They experienced weight loss, improved lung function, and even increased athletic performance.
Wait, so they were losing weight, breathing easier, and becoming more athletic just by rejuvenating their thymus gland?
It seems so.
Do you have any specific examples of these improvements?
Well, there was this one remarkable example of an 81-year-old track star who started winning medals after undergoing the TRIM treatment.
Winning medals at 81.
I know.
That's amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
It really highlights that these age reversal therapies aren't just about extending lifespan.
Right.
They're about improving quality of life.
Exactly.
And helping people live more vibrant, fulfilling lives.
Yeah.
So based on all this research, what are some actionable steps people can take today to start influencing their own aging process?
Well, there are actually quite a few things you can do right now to make a difference.
Okay.
But before we get into those, let's take a quick break.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about all these incredible advances in age reversal research.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to hear what we can actually do to start taking action today.
Well, I think it all starts with building a strong foundation for healthy aging.
You mean like the basics, diet, exercise, sleep, stress management?
Exactly. Those are really the non-negotiables. A nutrient-rich diet, regular physical activity, quality sleep, and effective stress management. Those are all absolutely essential for slowing down the aging process.
Okay, those are great. But I'm also curious about some of those more cutting-edge interventions we were talking about. What about intermittent fasting?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about that lately.
Intermittent fasting is showing a lot of promise.
Okay.
It's a really powerful way to kind of activate your body's natural cellular repair mechanisms.
Right.
And it's been shown to have some pretty impressive effects on longevity.
And what about high-intensity exercise? Is that better than just going for a walk every day?
Well, any type of exercise is definitely beneficial.
Yeah.
But high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, even in short bursts, can really supercharge your mitochondria, which are those little powerhouses inside your cells that produce energy.
So we're talking about things like diet and exercise, and then there's also those supplements like taurine and NMN that we discussed earlier. Are those worth adding to our routines?
They certainly can be.
Okay.
But it's really important to do your research.
Yeah.
And to choose high-quality supplements from reputable brands.
Right.
And of course, it's always a good idea to consult with your doctor.
Of course.
Before starting any new supplement regimen.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So with all these different strategies, how do we know if they're actually working?
Well, aside from like feeling better and having more energy, there are blood tests that can actually measure your biological age.
Oh, wow.
Which gives you a more accurate picture of how well you're aging.
So we can actually see if our biological age is younger than our chronological age.
You can.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And by tracking those markers, you can fine-tune your approach and make sure you're on the right track.
Okay.
But sometimes the best indicator is simply paying attention to how you feel.
Yeah.
Are you recovering from workouts faster? Is your skin looking more youthful? Are you thinking more clearly?
Right.
Those are all signs that your efforts are paying off.
Okay, all of this is so fascinating.
Yeah.
It seems like there are so many different ways we can impact our own aging process.
Absolutely.
But I have to ask, are there actually any scientists experimenting with age reversal in humans right now?
There are some very exciting trials going on as we speak.
Like what?
You mentioned the one using Yamanaka factors to restore eyesight.
Right.
And of course, there's the groundbreaking TRIM trial we discussed.
Right.
Where they successfully reversed biological age in human participants.
That trial was incredible. Are there any other human studies happening?
Well, there's this one researcher who's actually experimenting on himself.
Wait, a scientist is experimenting on himself?
Yeah.
With age reversal therapy?
He is.
That's pretty wild.
He's so passionate about the potential of these therapies that he's decided to be his own test subject to kind of accelerate the research.
Wow. What kind of results has he seen?
He's actually been able to reverse his biological age by several years.
What?
He's using a combination of therapies, including the TRIM protocol and a new experimental oral agent that's showing a lot of promise.
And he's actually sharing his data.
He is.
And documenting his entire journey publicly.
He is. It's incredibly generous and brave of him.
Yeah.
It really shows his dedication to advancing this field and making these therapies accessible to everyone.
That's really inspiring.
It is.
It sounds like he's putting his money where his mouth is, so to speak.
Exactly. He truly believes in the power of these therapies to transform human health and longevity.
I have to admit, all this talk about reversing aging is incredibly exciting. But part of me is still a little skeptical.
Sure.
Is all of this really possible?
Yeah.
Could we actually be on the verge of a world where aging is optional?
I understand your skepticism.
Yeah.
It's healthy to question these things.
Right.
Especially when the claims seem so bold.
Yeah.
But the scientific evidence is mounting every day.
Okay.
And the pace of research is accelerating exponentially. What we're seeing now is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
We're entering this new era of understanding when it comes to aging and the human body, and the potential is truly mind-blowing.
So you're saying that we might actually be able to achieve biological immortality, live forever.
That's a question that has fascinated philosophers and scientists for centuries.
Right.
And while true immortality may remain elusive for now, the possibility of extending healthy lifespans dramatically is definitely within our reach.
Okay.
The more we learn about the underlying mechanisms of aging, the more we realize that it's not like some predetermined fate, but this complex biological process that we can influence and potentially even reverse.
That's a powerful message of hope and empowerment.
It is.
We're not just victims of time. We can actually take control of our own aging process.
Precisely. And the best part is you don't have to wait for all the scientific breakthroughs to start reaping the benefits of this knowledge.
So what can we do?
There's so much you can do right now to optimize your health and slow down the aging process.
Okay.
By adopting a healthy lifestyle, exploring cutting-edge supplements, and staying informed about the latest research,
Yeah.
you can really position yourself to benefit from this longevity revolution.
All of this is just incredible.
It is.
It's so empowering to know that we have more control over our health and lifespan than we ever thought possible.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
there's one more area we need to address. So we've been talking about all these amazing possibilities of, slowing down and even reversing aging. But we haven't really touched on, what all of this means for society as a whole.
Yeah, that's a really important point.
Yeah.
The potential social and ethical implications of people living, much longer lives are huge.
Right.
And it's a conversation we need to be having, right now.
Yeah, exactly. What happens to retirement if people are living to 120 or even 150?
Yeah.
And can you imagine the strain on resources with a rapidly growing population living much longer?
Yeah, those are very real concerns.
Yeah.
We also need to think about access and equity.
Right.
How do we ensure that these age reversal therapies are available to everyone?
Right.
Not just a select few.
Mm-hmm.
There's a potential there for, widening existing inequalities if we're not careful.
It's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the practicalities, is it? It really challenges our fundamental ideas about life and death and the human experience.
It does.
Yeah.
We're talking about potentially reshaping the very fabric of society.
Wow.
Imagine the impact on family structures.
Yeah.
Relationships, careers, even our sense of identity could be transformed.
You're right. It's not just about adding more years to life.
Right.
It's about fundamentally changing what it means to be human.
Exactly.
So where do we even begin to address these questions?
Well, I think the first step is awareness.
Okay.
The more we talk about these issues, the better prepared we'll be to navigate the challenges.
Right.
And to really harness the potential of this longevity revolution.
So we need to start thinking about these implications now.
Yeah.
Before these technologies become widely available.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We need to have these open and honest conversations about the kind of future we want to create. And it's not just up to scientists and policymakers.
Right.
It's a conversation that needs to involve everyone.
You're right. It's our collective responsibility to shape this future.
I agree.
Well, this deep dive has been incredible.
Yeah, it has.
It's clear that we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary. And I, for one, am incredibly excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. And I think the most important thing to remember is that you're not just a passenger on this journey.
Right.
You have the power to take control of your own health and aging right now.
Yeah.
So embrace the possibilities, stay informed, and make choices that really support your longevity and well-being.
That's a great message to end on.
Yeah.
It's not about waiting for some magic pill.
Right.
It's about taking action today to live a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. So what are you waiting for? The future is in your hands.